And hello, good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of the Voluntary Reaction post-game show. I'm Russell Smith, alongside Bear, Davey Hudson of Outkick, and Logan Quinton, the Cookie Man. Tennessee, barring a most miraculous turn of events, is having their season come to an ignominious demise at the hands of the Arkansas Razorbacks as we speak. Yeah, we're going to go ahead and get started a little bit early. It's 11-2 in the top of the ninth with one out. Iredale just hit another home run for the Hogs, and, well, we got stuff to do, so we're going to go ahead and get this thing fired up and put a bow on the season, boys. Didn't end how we wanted it to, but, you know, I think the legacy of this, Logan, is going to be it was a really talented team that just never was able to put all the pieces together at the same time the way they did last year. And on the one hand, that's very frustrating. On the other hand, there's been so many defending national champions that did not make it this far or have this good a season. So, I don't know. How do you reflect on what's happened in 2025 for Tony Vitello and the Vols?
Yeah, I think you've mentioned this before, Russ, about the stadium not being complete. And I think there's so many parallels there, right? This season felt like just not quite there. And you're at the doorstep of Omaha, and it looks like you're going to be making your way back to Knoxville. And it's, the lineup thing obviously stuck as a point of discussion for the majority of the season, but as the broadcast mentioned today, that, Tony shored that up a few weeks ago and said, hey, this is what we're rolling with. So there was that adventure there for most of the season with some of the spots in the lineup like left field, DH and everything. So, and the pitching side too, we were all anticipating the return of A.J. Russell and what that would look like. And
we never really got him fully back.
Yeah.
Davey Hudson, thanks for joining us. You're back in Nashville. Good seeing you yesterday, but Tennessee can't get it done. I think we kind of all felt that this was likely today. It was going to be difficult. And hey, man, hats off to Arkansas. Like they've got a really good team. I think they've got a chance to win it all this year, like we did. I mean, they have a lineup like we did, where it's like, man, it's just dude after dude after dude. One through 5 or 6 is.
There's no breaks on their lineup.
It's really stout, and they took it to us this weekend.
Yeah, guys. I mean, the thing is, and I'm kind of looking at everything from the entire year in perspective. It's been a great job by Tony to at least keep the guys engaged whenever you look at what you've seen from previous national champs and what's happened after that. But if I'm taking the University of Tennessee as a whole, the only thing that's frustrating for me, and I tweeted this out not long ago, is just whenever it's come down to that final game of the year, whether it's Tennessee versus Ohio State in football, Rick Barnes versus the basketballs versus Houston in the Elite Eight. And now I guess you could kind of look at this as like a Sweet 16 matchup for Tony in Supers with the game against Arkansas. That final game's been uncompetitive and been absolutely atrocious to watch. And so it's just like for all these teams to be as great as they've been, I just don't like that the lasting taste is just an uncompetitive. We just went out there one last time and it didn't really matter for anything, especially for all the people you have that you can look at that have done great things for this program and the University of Tennessee as a whole.
Yeah, Bear, when we flame out, man. We don't have no pussyfooting around it, man. We crash and burn, baby.
We run full speed into a steel door face first when we do it, buddy.
Oh, man.
And that's all right.
I don't know. What would you rather, would you have rather had your heart broken on a last-second shot against Houston or, a missed field goal against Ohio State or a walk-off today? Or would you rather just go ahead and get your ass kicked? I mean, at the end of the day,
it's not quite as painful.
Hey, we've known this was over for the past 2 hours. We've just been sitting here waiting on it.
Yeah, I mean, this season has been drawing its final breaths, gasping and wheezing. We're hoping for a miracle, looking for a doctor to come in and get it back up, get us resuscitated. But it was the breaks. We made it further than any defending champion has in a long, long time. It's our 5th straight super regional. What was it Tony said, Logan? The expectation to be consistently good. I'm butchering it, but you're not going to make Omaha every year. And quite honestly, we've got nobody to blame but ourselves for the predicament we found ourselves in this weekend. Had we taken care of a little bit more business on some of these weekends, we wouldn't have been playing Arkansas before Omaha.
Right.
That's our bad. We'd had a much easier path to get back to Omaha. And I think once we made Omaha, nobody's got anything to complain about then.
Exactly.
That's like making a Final Four in basketball. So it kind of, to me, this season felt like an Elite Eight run in basketball. And I'm sure Tony and the guys, there'll be some retooling and retuning and
got to go find some dudes.
Yeah. And that's the one dynamic that Tony's going to have at his disposal that he didn't have last year being in Omaha. Remember, he talked about after the championship how they were a little behind in the recruiting process for the transfer portal because of the Omaha trip.
There's a tornado that's getting ready to hit the transfer portal.
I thought you were saying there was a tornado. I was like, do we need
Headed
to go
for
somewhere?
Walker Ball.
Do we need to leave?
No, man, it's bright, sunny, and like 98 outside right now. No, the transfer portal is open and humming, and if we're not going to Omaha, we might as well, Tony might as well get in there and start handpicking who he wants.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
He'll be after it tomorrow, I guarantee you.
Yeah, he'll let him get home tonight and get some rest, and then he'll be hitting it. I give him the day off tomorrow.
Yeah, got to find some guys, man. The downfall, we've been talking about this for weeks now, and for me, you can't put it on any one guy. I think the biggest factor, and I hate to say this, but I think Curley not being SEMO, not being close in that our leadoff guy, our alpha, the unquestioned alpha dog on this team, just not being able to be that guy, I think is the single biggest thing that prevented this team from reaching its potential. I think a very close second is Chapman, Peebles, Bargo not being those veteran guys that you can trust. Like so many guys that we've seen in the Vitello era who just blossom in their third year. I thought that Peebles and Chapman particularly would do that. I know Bargo's a little bit different. Ensley's a little bit different because they're a little bit older. But I thought Chapman and Peebles would blossom into pro prospects who would have huge years and then go off, and that just didn't happen. And, I mean, Keelan and Fisher and Doyle obviously were dogs. Like they belong on they fit in with last year's team and the ethos of our program and all that stuff. But we just had some guys that did not develop into championship caliber players, which has become the standard for this program. It's a very high standard. It's probably unfair, but I detected a little bit of that too, Davey, with just watching Tony today in that dugout. There was, I don't want to say he was mailing it in but
resignation maybe.
It looked like I'm ready to go out and get some guys. Because he's not the kind, we know this guy. He's not going to sit back and, let's go to the beach and decompress. Like, it's how he processes disappointment. Like, he will hit the recruiting trail with a vengeance, and he will not stop until he's got what he feels like is a roster that can wreak havoc this offseason.
Yeah,
Davey.
I agree with that, and I also just think, this is now the 5th game we faced Arkansas in the last month. And he, like us, can just tell Arkansas is the superior team and deserve the wins that they've gotten. And
they're better than us.
Yeah, I think with him seeing that and just knowing, obviously, coming off of last year, what a dominant team looks like. While this is a good team, it ain't that team. And, we need more Jimmys and Joes.
865-966-3435 is your number if you want to chime in. This is the last one. Obviously, this is the last voluntary reaction we will do until after the Syracuse game to open football. The vibes will hopefully be much different.
You don't usually do some kind of like summer once football like camp opens, we do like a preseason. I felt like we've done that in the past.
I mean, I'm not playing. We'll see. I mean, I'm guessing this will be the last time we convene on Voluntary Reaction until the Syracuse game. So if you want to jump in, go ahead and call us now. 865-966-3435 is the phone number as you call in this afternoon. Let us know what you think about it. How do you characterize this season? Is it success? Is it a failure? Is it somewhere in between? All I know is this, Davey, and you talk about the way the three big seasons ended in just blowouts. But, man, there's no doubt, like this athletics department right now, when you talk about a football program that went to the first ever 12-team college football playoff, a basketball program that just went to back-to-back Elite Eights for the first time in school history, a women's basketball program that appears to be on the ascendancy with a Sweet 16 berth in Kim Caldwell's first year, and obviously Tennessee baseball following up a natty with a super regional appearance, a Women's College World Series appearance for softball. Just another terrific school year for the University of Tennessee Athletics Department under Danny White. This guy's he's getting it done, man. All sports school, whatever you want to call it, massive success across the board.
But you say that, Russ, and if he goes to Adidas, we're going to have a lot of fans just check out.
Not check out, but winners don't go to Adidas is all I'm going to say. Maybe
I mean, yeah, as it relates to on-the-field play, it's you can't dispute what we've witnessed, and it's been a fun ride. Like there's no other program in the country that gets to say they've had as much enjoyment when you look at the collective of their sports programs. And I mean, last year we were able to get a national championship out of it, and we obviously want to continue to reach the summit in other sports, but who has a higher trajectory than us right now? I can't point to a single program and be like, yep, it's them.
Texas won the All Sports League thing they're doing it real well right now, but I mean, we're in that conversation of top two or three. There's not really many people we would change with, which when you go back to pre-Danny White, like it's remarkable the turnaround that this athletics department has seen in the last 4 years. Let's look at the game real quick here for just a second here. And
Chris Newstrom doubled.
All right, 11-2 in the bottom of the ninth. We got a runner at second with one out. The decision to pull Liam Doyle, we get the one run, bases loaded in the third, I believe, and Fisher hits into the double play. And it felt so deflating, man. It was like we only get one run out of there. But it's a 2-1 game with a lot of baseball left to be played, and we got Liam going.
Yeah, for me, obviously Arkansas has put up 11 runs, but this thing started with just two swings there from Davalon. I thought that obviously a huge blow, but it's still, like to your point, a 2-1 game at that point in the game. But, the wild pitches, both sequences, were ignited by some wild pitch instances. So, it makes you wonder. Krenzel right there was I think that was going to be his only at bat, and he's got two outs. He's up 1-2 in the count. Tries to go with a waste pitch right there, I believe, outside the zone, and it gets away. And then the next thing AJ comes in and
the decision to pull Liam.
Yeah.
At that point, I think he was right around the 70 pitch mark.
Yeah. He
was grinding. It's a one-run game at that point. It is 2-1. The bases are loaded, but he's grinding. He's getting out of these jams, and we know he can throw it. And he wasn't running out. I think that the previous batter he had thrown, I saw there was 197-mile-per-hour fastball that he's still hitting on the velo. obviously hindsight is 2020. It just feels like, man, we talk about Curley being ride or die. Liam should be ride or die, man. Let him face Alloy in that situation and see what happens, man. If he beats us, he beats us.
Ride the horse the way it wants to ride. That's what stuck out to me. And obviously the broadcast talked about Liam working at a different pace. It was the first time I saw it on TV, and it was very different from a schematics standpoint. And I liked it. And he was pitching backwards with the splitter and the breaking ball and was doing fine for the first few innings. I get it. I think I get the train of thought because, like I mentioned to you, Russ, I'm sure it was in the back of Tony's mind. Duel could be available tomorrow at that pitch count that you're pulling him at, right? But also he's playing the odds and playing the numbers with the matchup, going with Krenzel. But I still, at the end of the day, you got to ride with the horse that got you here.
Yeah. No, I agree. You bring in Krenzel, and was it 0-2?
1-2.
1-2, and then the wild pitch, and yeah, man, and then it was the floodgates were open. He hits the next guy, and then it's a grand salami. Well, AJ gives up the grand slam, but that was all she wrote for the Big Orange, and I wonder if he had it to do over again, if he would have left Liam in there. Davey, any second guessing from your part, or is it just 11-2 and you got to let it go?
I would say it's 11-2. You got to let it go. I mean, listen, Liam could have got out of that, but I think with the way things were trending, they were going to score. It just sucks. It turned into a grand slam.
I would have left him in there. He's worked his way out of so many jams this year.
Certainly couldn't have gone worse than what ended up happening.
Yeah.
Not clean enough baseball, I think, is a recurring theme throughout the entire season.
Yeah.
Just not enough hitting to overcome it. Last year we could boot the ball around, a little wild pitch here or there, get a little loose on the base paths. We let a rundown. We botched a rundown today. That ended up not hurting us, but we had a guy hung up and couldn't get the out.
How the hell I missed that somehow. I guess someone's in here getting this stuff fired up, but how the hell do you mess up a rundown?
I said, Logan, we're watching it in real time. And what did I say? How are we going to screw this up?
Yep, he did. He called it. He called it. Liam stepped off, threw over the first. Russ comes in. How are we going to screw this up? It wasn't even a competitive rundown, really.
We had him dead to rights, man. I mean, it's just
the throwback to Fisher.
We're not dead yet.
Yeah, it's.
Whoa! What do you mean we're not dead yet?
Hey, Jay Abernathy with his first home run of the season.
Yep.
How about that?
11-3.
It's a good sign for things to come for the young man.
Antigua is pinch hitting for Andrew Fisher.
He's just wanting to get everybody in a bat today.
What?
It's like, hey, I don't want you to transfer.
That's what
out.
it says.
What's that all about?
Maybe Antigua will get his first home run.
Just going to a lefty-righty matchup here. Trying to get Antigua a look. All right, well, down 7 runs. Hey, the Braves blew a 7-run lead in the bottom of the ninth a couple of nights ago. Maybe
with 2 outs, right?
Maybe Arkansas will.
Don't bury him yet. I'd love to add to the speeches.
If Antigua can at least get on, you get one more bat for Inslee.
Well, we got to play cleaner next year. I think we can all agree on that. It'd be interesting to hear what Tony has to say coming out of this one, but we've been on for about 20 minutes now, and the game is still going.
We should have just done this live from the get-go.
Just started? How about Tony? Like the best, our offensive outburst happened while he was doing his. Did you see the Hawk Tony, Davey?
I didn't see that. I did see what you were talking about as far as Tony being on the headset, and I think we had to start the inning. We had the guy get on first and second.
It was back-to-back hits.
I don't want to stay on here. I might say something I shouldn't.
Did you hear him hawk a loogie into the microphone?
No, I didn't hear that. I have to go back. I'm sure it's circulating on social.
He just right into the half took the headset off, but just sorry guys, that was disgusting.
Man, he doesn't give a shit.
Oh man, it was classic Vitello.
He's 1 in a million, man. He's a funny dude.
Have they resumed work on the Death Star?
I'm sure they will tomorrow.
That's a good question.
Well, it'll look a lot different when we go in there next year. And
Yeah.
as you said, Logan, like that kind of symbolic of the transformation of the program. And yeah, I mean, we didn't finish the stadium at any point for this season. And that's how I feel about this team is it's really incomplete. Like we just never finished the team either.
Yeah, the guys are there, and I'll contend that this is the deepest roster in the country, but it's those chess pieces that you have to figure out early in the season. Who's playing? I mean, from the get-go, they literally did not know who was going to play first base, for example, and it ends up being Andrew Fisher. That worked out phenomenally. But then the other parts too, like left field and the left side of the infield and DH, and it's just a lot of these moving parts. They finally landed on something, but it boggles my mind that guys like Bargo and Reese Chapman had the ending that they did, that the slide that they, because Bargo for 80% of the season was so solid, and whatever happened, him and Chapman, that was a huge blow towards the end of the season.
Antigua strikes out swinging to end it for Tennessee, so it's a final now. The Volunteers fall 11-4 in Fayetteville, and I guess we're still technically defending champions.
Yes, sir.
For at least another 3 weeks or so.
Yep.
So we got that going for us. What a run. What a reign as national champions for Tennessee and the Volunteers. First team to win a national championship and get back to the Super Regional since Oregon. Was it Oregon State in like 2017 or 2018?
17. Yeah, I was trying to remember if 2019 Vandy. Well, there was no 2020. So, yeah, it might be Oregon State.
I like watching. I will be watching that later tonight. That's a 9:00 first pitch. That's a fun little ballpark they got there, and that's been a fun series.
That series has been phenomenal. Jamie Arnold pitched last night for Florida State, and then their closer comes in, and I think he topped out at 100 for the first time. That was pretty electric. Two great ball teams, and it's win or go home tonight for those two out in Corvallis.
I'm sad. Big sad. So we get some more Tony and the boys next week.
I hate to see it end. I hate to lose to a rival. These Arkansas people are funny, man. But selfishly, this really works out for the Drive's vacation schedules. Both Bear and I are scheduled to be out of town the week after this coming week. So that was a major point of contention the past couple of weeks is, oh, my God, we're going to go to Omaha, and we're both going to be out of town. This is going to be not great, Bob. But I guess we'll be okay. Logan, you want to come in guest host week after next?
We'll see. Maybe I'm
That's a
making
no.
a trip. Maybe I'm making a trip.
That's
Maybe
a
I have
no.
vacation plans too. I've got to look at the calendar.
To dig deep into the Drive's Rolodex. 865-966-3435 if you want to chime in. Tennessee falls today at Arkansas, 11-4, the final, 966-3435. If you want to join us today as we try to make sense of a season that just never really got on track the way we wanted it to. Tennessee, after run ruling Texas A&M on April the 4th, was 28-2 and the number one team in the nation. We were invincible 28-2, the number one team, and we were making our reservations for Omaha. Tennessee proceeds to go 18-17. The rest of the way, 14-17 if you take out the midweek games. We had no idea.
Not good, Bob.
We had no idea when Liam walked off the field after run ruling
No
the
hitting.
Aggies. No hit, run rule victory on April the 4th. They come back and win April the 5th. Okay, it's whatever. We had no idea. The downward spiral had begun.
No,
I mean, you say downward spiral, but we did go to the Super Regionals. But flat out, we didn't take care of business.
From
and we
28-2 the first 30 games to 18-17 the last 35 is a downward spiral.
Yeah, it is. But
Which the answer to your question, Russ, 2018 Florida. So Florida won it in 2017. They got back to Omaha the next year, and that was the last to make it back to Omaha or Super Regionals.
Let's get a call from Anthony. Anthony, you're on Voluntary Reaction. What's up, man?
Hey, guys.
Hey.
Tough ending to I think it's still a pretty good season. I mean, and put this in basketball terms, this is still a Sweet 16. And I think we had to play against the toughest team left.
Yeah, the standard, the bar that Tony has set, he set that bar so high right now. It's just, I don't want to say it's going to be impossible to live up to. I fully expect that we will be back in Omaha and have more chances in the future under this guy. But, man, anything less than a trip to Omaha, I think, is going to be viewed as disappointing by a certain segment of our fan base, and that's going to be difficult for the expectations here moving forward. But that's what we all want.
I think you just said it. Not going to complain a lot about the best program we have on campus, the best male program, I guess, that we have on campus. It was kind of a little insult to injury there at the end when Abernathy hit that home run.
Well, maybe a preview of next year.
Maybe. It would have been nice. Again, I said I'm not going to complain much, but, I mean, I am going to complain a little bit. It would have been nice to have gotten him a few at-bats for Bargo down the stretch. I felt like the whole game kind of turned when we took Doyle out. What did y'all think about that decision?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it earlier. Hindsight's 20/20, Anthony. I wish he hadn't done it. And Logan and I were both giving each other a weird look when it happened. It's like, man, he's only at 70 pitches. I'd ride or die with him, and I didn't like it at the time. Certainly don't like it now.
Let's not lose sight of the fact that Fisher got on base every game this season. That's an incredible accomplishment.
Incredible. Yeah, I mean, like him and Keelan, Liam Doyle, they fit in with last year's team. They were wartime consiglieres. They were dudes, man, and we just didn't have enough of those guys. And hopefully Tony can go find us a few more for next year. But Andrew Fisher was an absolute dog this year for the Big Orange.
Heck yeah.
So, yeah, that's one thing I don't worry about very much is talent with this baseball team. I completely trust Anthony Gregory Vitello to give us a very talented team next year. That being said, I think we're only going to have two guys from the starting lineup return next year. What do y'all think?
Marin and Clark.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be interesting. Like, I think that Lawless is going to have a leg up behind the plate. I think Tony really likes him. I think they obviously think highly of Abernathy. It'll be interesting. Is he left field? Is he center field? Is he, middle infield is what he played in high school. Can he carve out a role there?
He's so fast in the outfield, though.
And then Newstrom and Grimmer. Like, where where do those guys figure in? But there is definitely a spot or two for a big name transfer portal guy. And I would think that at this point, given everything that our program has achieved under Tony, that any big name transfer portal guy, we've already seen the Ford kid from Virginia visit, is going to, at the very least, take our call, if not want to come here.
Yeah, I think where Abernathy plays next year is going to largely depend on who we get in the portal, who we bring in this recruiting class. I do think we're about to be ravaged by the MLB draft, though.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's a good thing, right? I mean, you want guys to – are you talking about players that we have committed or guys that on the roster?
Well, both.
Yeah.
Both. And speaking about guys on the roster, not only is our lineup about to be, devastated, we're about to lose all of our pitchers too.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that might be
it's
the
gonna
bigger
be a
question. We bring Krenzel back. You bring Dylan Loy back, I guess. You hope he continues to develop. The Seibert kid, Big Anson Seibert, at all 6'8" of him, I think is going to be
that's going to be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
I forgot about him. Yeah, he didn't get to pitch this year, did he?
No, but he's on the roster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did he have Tommy John?
Breedlove.
Yeah, he had Tommy John last spring.
Breedlove flashed a little bit. But again, I mean, that might be, like, if you're asking me, what would you rather have? Another Andrew Fisher or another Liam Doyle? I think just because of the question marks that our pitching state, you probably take the Doyle, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, I would.
The thing is, since 2022, we've had both.
Yes. Yeah.
So it's hard to pick.
And
one or
we
the
probably
other.
get both. I mean, we don't have to pick. This ain't football. This ain't basketball, man. This is
That's
Tony
right.
Vitello. We're going to get what we want.
That's right. I think Sharman will take a step forward next year, too. I thought he looked really good this year. I'm not worried about it. It was, all in all, I don't think it was a disappointing season. Just ran up against a tough team this weekend. Still got to the Supers. It's hard to be too upset with this team. I could have complete faith in Tony V. I'm not too worried about it. I think the program that we should be the most worried about is coming up next. See you guys.
All right, thank you. What did you say? The program that's coming up next?
So you talking about
Talking about
LSU?
football. No, he's talking about football.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
We're going to get into football here in just a minute. First, though, if you want to follow up, Anthony, thanks for the phone call. Give us a ring. Open lines right now, 865-966-3435 is your number to get on the Voluntary Reaction post-game show. 865-966-3435. This will be our final Voluntary Reaction until we reconvene for football season. Josh Heupel and the boys will be getting things fired up. I believe, is it August 31st this year or September 2nd, something like that?
31st. We play. I think we play on the 31st, and then we play on the 6th.
Syracuse in Atlanta will be the kickoff for the boys this week or this year, and we will talk about that coming up here in a little bit. Yeah, Tony Vitello going to have to go out there and find some guys to replace Keelan, Fisher, Doyle, and hopefully add to what we have coming back on next year's team. Where do you think Abernathy figures in, Logan?
I would think center field, but the beautiful thing about Abernathy is he's a true up-the-middle guy. He's not some guy that's going to stick in left field. That was just his only way to get in the field this season. I would say second base or center field, maybe even right field. But with his athleticism, he can cover a lot of ground. We saw back in January some of the practices and scrimmages. He's got a good arm, too.
Evidently, he's got some power.
Yeah, he's got pop, man. I think he and Manny both can benefit so much. Now, Manny is...
Time for Q to earn that paycheck.
Yes. Manny is eligible next summer, but I think he's a guy that can benefit.
So we've only got him for one more year.
I think he's a guy. This is kind of an outlier because most guys that are highly touted at that level and that end up starting their freshman season, you can kind of go ahead and check off. Yeah, they're going to go. But for Manny, it's about physicality and adding that power to his game and the finesse at third base. And I think I could see him, staying 3 years. Abernathy got him for 3, so that should work out well. But yeah, I think Jay, the caller, made a good point. That's going to determine a lot where you play him. I was dead wrong on Jay in terms of the at bats. I thought going back to January, Jay would be he would log more than 100 at bats.
Yeah,
but it ended up being Manny that ended up being a piece for you over on the left side.
Somebody, I don't know if they texted me this or if it was a tweet. I can't find it right now, but somebody said Newstrom and Abernathy did more in the last inning of this game than Chapman and Peebles did. It's another thing, Davey, if you look back on the season and, should we have pulled Liam in this particular game, I think Tony will give some thought. He's like, man, I wonder if I should have gotten those young guys some more looks as my seniors or my veterans were struggling down the stretch. You there, Dave?
I'm here. It's a good question. I tend to agree. It's weird because, if this was last year, I just felt like he probably would have stuck with the guys in that moment. Yeah. The only thing I can think of is just that, he's been roughed up so much by Arkansas.
Yeah.
Newstrom and would you sign up for an outfield of Abernathy in center, Newstrom and Grimmer and right left? And
yeah, I would.
Would you rather go find another big-time bat?
Now, Grimmer he can play in the dirt. He's a corner infielder, but I totally could play left field. It's going to be, I think, in the portal, probably. They'll take who they can get, like you mentioned. We're going to see a lot of people enter the portal from a big-time level here over the next couple of weeks.
And we'll probably lose a guy or two in the portal that we're not expecting.
Yeah. This is there's some flight risks, but that's the name of the game, right? You've got a lot of guys, as you mentioned, Russ, all these talented names that didn't get the at-bats that they wanted, and it's just how the meat's made this day and age.
Some random guy is next. Rando, you're on Voluntary Reaction. Go ahead.
Gentlemen, I think you nailed it, Russ, on the date, which was the Texas A&M series. That's where the season really turned, or if you want to consider that's where we got exposed. I think the team was who they were. I just think that they had gotten a lot of soft competition on the front end of the year. And when we got in, and I said it multiple times in the early season, coming into SEC play, man, that was going to be a meat grinder. And we just, I said it on the drive a couple of times. This team never had the clutch gene. Am I wrong?
Man, again, I think that Fisher was clutch. I think Keelan had a very good year. I think Liam Doyle was a dog, but you need more. The problem is last year we had 7 of those guys, right? Yeah. Dreiling was the 3rd or 4th best guy on the team. Probably would have been the best player on this year's team. So, that just gives you an indication of the depth of talent you have to make it to Omaha and make a run there. So, yeah, whether it's lack of clutch, lack of development, I don't know, but there was a certain ingredient missing from this year's team for sure.
And I'm not going to crap on this season, guys. We went to Supers. We've been there 5 years in a row, and I believe we're the only current program that's been to Supers 5 years in a row. And I think they made some kind of a statistical statement during either the Wake game or the first game against Arkansas that there's only been 6 programs, us being the 6th, since '99 with the new format that have made it to Supers 5 years in a row. So, look, there's a lot of positives there for this year as a whole. 15 years ago we would have killed for this season. Tony has set the bar extremely high, but I don't think I'm remiss or out of line to say there's 5 guys on that team this year that were starters, and I'm not going to name names, but there's 5 guys on that team that were starters this year that we can go out either with guys in the portal or guys that were riding the bench and get equal or better production next year. And it was a team that never gelled. They just never reached their potential. They could never get rolling. Once we got past that A&M series,
yeah.
they never had consistency. So.
Yeah, it's weird, man. And I just go back to Curley, and it was good to see him end the season on a high note. But I just wonder, man, in hindsight, if we just left him at shortstop and said, listen, you were the shortstop on a national championship team. You're our team captain. You're our leadoff man, and we're just going to leave you there. And if he had just been the alpha dog of this team, I feel like that would have opened everything else up for the lineup.
Yeah.
Hopefully would have prevented him from having the yips, if that's what you want to call it, in the field, and would have lifted. I'm not saying it would have brought us back to a national championship team, because I just don't think we were that good this year, but you win enough games to where you're hosting your super regional instead of going on the road. You're not playing Arkansas, and you're playing Arizona or Florida State or Murray State, in the Hornets' nest, and you get to win, and maybe you make it back to Omaha at that point. So
there were 3 or 4 games in the course of the season. I'll point to the 2 back-to-back against Texas A&M. I point to game 1 against LSU.
Yep.
And there's probably 1 or 2 other games in the course of the season where we absolutely lost a game we should have won. And that's the difference between us hosting on Supers and being the 14 seed and going to Fayetteville. It was that damn close. So I know it's been a long day. You guys were on. I was listening to y'all while we were watching the 9th inning, just waiting for the body to die. There's a crap load of talent coming back, and you guys have touched on some of it. I mean, we got Siebert, we got Coons, we've got Franklin's coming back, I believe. You've got Krenzel, you've got Lloyd. There's some pitching there, and I think give those guys 8 or 9 months. I think you're going to have a few of those guys step up. We've already had 2 good commits in the portal with pitchers. I don't think either of the 2 of them are apt to be going to the majors, unless I'm wrong. You guys can touch on that after I'm gone. Good recruiting class coming in, a ton of talent that never really saw the field this year. And if there's a program that, you got a guy that's going to go get baseball guys and get the right people, I trust Tony and I trust Elander to go out there and get the job done. And guys want to pitch for Frank. Glass half freaking full, maybe even 2/3 full. This is not the end of the run. This is not a bad team. This is not a bad program. It didn't go the way we wanted, but, and I've been fairly restrained to this point, so I'll let it off a little bit. God damn it, we're the defending national fucking champions. You're just not going to go back-to-back very often. It doesn't happen. So dry up your damn tears. Let Tony and Josh go to work. Let Frank go to work. We're going to be fine. We're going to be back, and we're going to be right back in the same position or better next year. I fully believe that. In Tony we trust, now and forever. Guys, we will talk to you in a couple of months. Enjoy the rest of your summer, and go big damn Orange. See you guys.
Hey, you too, Rando. Thanks for all the calls this season in football, basketball, and baseball. It's been a pleasure breaking it down with you, and yeah. We got Tony Vitello. We're going to be back. 865-966-3435. Your number to get on board as Rando drops off. That creates a line available for you at 865-966-3435 if you want to chime in here on this post-game edition of the Voluntary Reaction. Sean says, I think Colby Backus is eligible to return.
I think he
next
is.
Year.
I think he is.
He played more last year than he did this year.
I think he's like 25 years old, probably has a mortgage, but I was told, and I haven't confirmed or anything, but I was told last weekend that it looks like he may even have an extra year.
He's on that Zakai Ziegler,
Yeah.
Cooper Mays schedule. He's just going to be here for forever. Fulke.
He crushes it in the Appalachian League every summer. I'm wondering if
He's a big dude.
does he still have eligibility for the Appy League? You know,
Yeah.
How does that work? Which I think he does. He leads that league in homers like every summer.
Is that the next step for a bunch of these guys? Well,
Yeah.
a bunch of guys go there and Cape Cod, and there's one in California.
I know for sure Aiden Hayes, didn't get to see him this year. I got a good look at him in January. He's going to be throwing for the Axemen as it stands now. He's on the roster out there. And actually a couple of guys that we saw in the regional, I think Derek Pitts, that center fielder for Cincinnati, he's going to be on that roster. And then there was a guy from Miami of Ohio that's going to be on that roster as well. So, yeah, we'll see. As far as USA baseball, Dean Curley was on the team. Nate Snead was on the team last summer. Maybe we'll see one or two of those take their talents and put on the stars and stripes. But, yeah, there's going to be some summer ball. I don't know. In recent years, there hasn't been a ton that go to the Cape. Some of the West Coast kids will go and play in some of the West Coast leagues. But, yeah, some of these guys will do some summer ball. Other guys will have other plans and kind of stay here and do some workouts, personalized stuff on their own.
You think Antigua will stick around?
No clue. That's a good question.
I was kind of surprised he stuck around for this year.
Yeah. That's one right there. You know,
You wonder, was Tony sending some sort of a message, pinch hitting him for Fisher there at the end?
No clue. That's this one's been interesting. I mean, he came to the program.
You said yesterday, like he wasn't just a Rafi Belliard, Augie Ojeda,
No.
just defensive wit. Like he was a guy that had some pop in his bat.
His senior year of high school, he got hurt. I believe it was an ACL, like in the fall. He came back to DH for his team and didn't play in the field. If not for that, this dude was projected 4th round, 5th round that year. Probably would have been drafted, but he comes to UT, and he was touted as a guy that does it on both sides of the baseball. So it's been an interesting journey for Ariel. Obviously, fantastic plays in the field, but also some errors there as well. But, man, I would just love to see him get a run, no matter where it is.
If you turn him loose and say, hey, you're our shortstop, and come hell or high water, like you're going to be out there and just clean up the errors, be a spectacular defensive player, and you'll get your at-bats and you'll get your hits, and we're not going to be hitting you up in the top half of the order or anything, but – you know, you wonder if he would blossom if given that kind of license. But I go back to just leadership and last year's team. It's going to be like the 2022 football team, man. We're going to be referring to the 2024 team for maybe for as long as Tony is here, for another 10-plus years. But that team, you knew coming into the season that this was Christian Moore and Blake Burke's team. They were it was their 3rd year. They had played a ton, and they were the alphas, and they lived up to the billing.
Yeah.
This year, it was Ensley's team, right? And we all love Hunter Ensley for what he did, but he's not that kind of talent of Semo and Burke. He's not going to be drafted highly. He's a blood and guts. He's a great leader.
And he's not naturally vocal either. Like, he talked about that. Towards the end of the season, you know, there was a little push there because
speak up a little.
Yeah, and he said he started doing that, and I think that might have played a part into that what we saw rolling into Hoover. And you get a couple of big wins in Hoover. But Fisher was a leader, and that's
he kind of took that mantle at the end of the season.
He did. And to play first base, the guy played a fine first base.
Yeah,
never played it before.
That was a big concern,
level.
and it just was not a problem this year.
Yeah, and everything fit. His personality fits first base. Yeah. You have to be a different dude over there. I mean,
but getting back to the leadership thing, it's like, okay, because I'm looking at the guys that are returning from next year. I don't think it's fair to put that leadership mantle on a transfer. They might. Right. Fisher was able to grab it by the end of the year, but he wasn't that guy. Who's going to be leading the offseason workouts? Who's going to be the manager in fall ball? That was Dean Curley this past year. And then
it's a great question.
He struggled. Can Manny Marin be that guy? You know, Stone Lawless will be his third year in the program.
Stone would be an option.
Can he assume? Can Levi Clark be that guy in just his second year?
Stone and Levi. Yeah, that's where I would go. That's where my mind goes, just off the cuff.
Davey, any thoughts on that before we get Stevie in here?
I don't have a leader in the clubhouse as it relates to who's going to be the guy for this team next year. I just hope. I mean, if you hit the transfer portal like you did this past season, where obviously Gavin Keelan and Andrew Fisher were two of your best players, not to mention you went and got Liam Doyle. Like, I feel good as far as just reloading. But it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. And I'm curious if Tony actually – I mean, I haven't had a chance to see if he's said much as far as, like, looking forward to next year. But if he drops any names as far as who he might be anticipating being that guy.
Stevie, you're on the Voluntary Reaction post-game show. Good afternoon and good evening.
Russell!
Stevie!
Hey, who do you boys think we're going to start Game 3 tomorrow?
Well, we didn't save Levi or Doyle, so.
Stevie, do you
I
get to
feel
see
like
the
we
final
should
out?
just play one to – shut up, Davey. I'd like to chime in on the Ariel Antigua series, Russ. There's only one leader in this clubhouse going forward, and it's the one who sacrificed his entire career for the Power T. There's only one man, a wee little man, who has given his all this year, and it's Ariel Antigua, Russ. Ariel Antigua decided to come back, sit out the whole year, go in every 8th and 9th inning, strike out, because who would get a hit if you just get inserted in the lineup in the 9th inning, Russ? You're sitting in the dugout all day, and then you want somebody to get a hit? Well, of course his batting average is going to be low. But he's the dog. He's the one that showed up to that big ogre on first base at LSU. He's the X factor our team needs. He's just the all-star we need on this team, Russell, going forward. It's Ariel Antigua or bust.
Do we really want the leader of the program, as you put it, Stevie, to be a wee man? A wee little man. Oh, a wee little man, Ariel Antigua. He's a wee little man. I don't know why I'm talking like a leprechaun now, but he's the leader of the program.
There are plenty of short kings in history. David was a wee little man. Bud Webb was a wee little man.
Dustin
Allen
Pedroia
Iverson was a wee little man. Zakai Ziegler was a wee little man. Do you have something against the little Zakai Ziegler, Russell?
Napoleon
Was a wee little man. Julius Caesar was a wee, I think.
Point taken. I think it would be. I love this day and age of the transfer portal. The first hint of adversity, I'm out. I love seeing those guys stay and play. We had one, Trey Lipscomb, a couple of years ago. Should have been SEC Player of the Year. Has already been to the big leagues a couple of times. He's bouncing around a little bit now, but great player. I would love to see Antigua do that. I don't know that he has enough pop in that bat to be that guy. I admire your dedication to the cause, though, Stevie. I really do.
Russell,
Stevie?
He is the prince to his promise. I know for sure.
You know for sure.
If you it's just like the Cookie Man said. Or maybe I can't. Honestly, I feel like death right now.
I got the Cookie Man here.
If you promise the man bats and you just put him in the starting role, he's not that bad. When he started kind of in the middle of the year this year, he got on base. And after all, is that not what we want from our 9-hole hitter, to get on base?
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, that would be fine.
What do you think, Davey, since you were chirping?
Yeah, Davey.
I'm just here for a good
Davey.
time.
Are
What's
you
the
having,
question?
you having a good time?
Yeah.
Guys, where was Andrew Binky this year?
What happened to Binky, man? He was another guy who played more last year than he did this year.
Yeah,
Was he hurt?
I think there may have been some soreness / injury that he was dealing with. But he'll be back. That's another arm you'll have.
Binky
back.
baby.
Binky baby. I'm a Binky baby, Russ. Guys, I'm going to just straight up say it. I don't care if I'm considered a negavol. I don't care. Just wait until we go 3-5 this next coming football season. This was coaching malpractice this year. This was coaching malpractice. Dean Curley shouldn't even have sniffed the field this year. Dalton Bargo is slower than molasses in January. Okay? Jay Abernathy smoked a moonbeam on the last at-bat of the season. He should have been in left field all year, Russell. Ariel Antigua's our best defensive infielder. Keelan's not a leadoff hitter. Dean Curley's not a leadoff hitter. Keegan Coombs is okay. This was coaching malpractice, Russ. There's no other way to say it. I love Tony.
Stevie.
Yeah, if we can get rid of that Vitello clown, maybe this program can finally take a step forward, right?
Stevie.
What?
Don't what me. For most of the season, Stevie, Antigua led the team in errors.
If you put a guy in the ninth inning after sitting all day, he will not perform. He will
What
not
about Jay
perform.
Abernathy?
He's pretty good. Russell, if you didn't talk for a whole week and then let a 3-hour radio show, how would your voice be after?
Well, I'm a trained professional, so, I mean, it's all about preparation. You got to have a little
Get
hot
out
tea,
of here.
stay away from
Get
the
out of
spicy
here.
foods, and just be ready to go. Control your voice. Don't blow it out in the first hour. You know, you got to pace yourself, that kind of thing.
Russ, you would sound like RFK Jr. after a cigarette. I'll end positively. I'm excited to spend the silly summer with you all. Let's get a little weird. Let's talk about music and film, and let's have a hot girl summer. I love you all, and I expect to thank you for my calls too, Russell. Bye.
Thank you for the call, Stevie. 865-966-3435. As Stevie drops off, that creates a line available for you this afternoon. 966-3435, your number to get on the voluntary reaction. Tony Vitello, after the game, says, quote, I have as high of standards of anyone, but my final words to the guys is that I hope they took pride in what they accomplished, end quote, which is significant because it is Pride Month. Vitello says of the offense this year that they were a little bit over-emotional at times this season. Quote, if we had a weak spot, it was some of that, end quote.
Yeah, I thought that was interesting. What side of the emotion is he talking about? Just kind of the guys getting in their heads, those guys like we talked about at Chapman and Bargo.
When it's going bad, it's going bad.
Yeah, because I don't think it's the other side of the deal, right? That being too hyped up and having too much swag going into it.
Man. I mean, like look at Blake Burke's sophomore year.
Yeah.
He wasn't hurt. He just wasn't seeing it. I mean, again, the veteran guys, Chapman, Peebles for the first. Peebles came on the second half of the season, but for much of the first half of the season, Hunter Ensley, the last in the postseason, just sort of disappeared on us, man. I hate to see the guy go out like that, but he did not hit well.
He's still a legend. This one stings the way it happened. You know what this team's similar to? I kind of feel like, in a lot of ways, same kind of feelings. 99 Tennessee team. Football.
Yeah.
Probably had the talent to repeat, but just kind of could never put it together.
I think that team, not to debate 26 years ago with you, but I think that team was more of kind of less rest on its laurels thing. Remember the Fulmer's quote about guys playing for the name on the back of jersey instead of the T on the side of the helmet? I don't think there was any of that this year. I think our guys laid it on the line and gave it all they got. Baseball's a funny sport, man. You have one or two guys that are slumping, and it can really affect the entire team. I mean, the 3, 4, and 6 spots in our lineup these last 2 weeks just really, I won't say let us down, but kind of disappeared offensively. Who were the 3, 4, and 6 hitters on last year's team?
So you had
Amick,
Burke,
Dreiling.
Amick
was third.
Amick
was cleanup.
Amick, Dreiling.
And then
Curley.
6 would have been Curley.
Yeah. Well, he was. I'm wanting to say 7 for the most at bats.
Oh, it's Tears.
Tears, yes, Tears.
Best hitters.
That's just gosh. What those guys are doing. Also, have you seen any of the footage and stuff of like Dreiling and Burke and Tears in the minor leagues?
They're mashing.
Yeah. Drew Beam.
They're mashing. Dolander pitched today. Got rocked, but
Yeah.
first game back after a little stint on the DL with forearm tightness. Playing the Mets and their $300 million payroll. No shame in that. Wish I could have gotten rocked by the Mets today. Day of service time in the big leagues. Probably worth about $60,000 or something like that. I would have taken that. Tony Vitello says, quote, maybe Jay's deal, the home run there, is a little bit of symbolism that the future is not bleak. Hear, hear. Big Jay Abernathy might be a candidate to be one of the leaders. That kid's got a little moxie,
He
man.
does.
He's got a little something different
He
going
does.
on.
I noticed right away in preseason, he plays with a little extra. And he's got the pop to him. He's a slight frame, but to be that light in frame, he's got some pop to him.
Get him in the weight room with Q, little deer antler spray, little something. Put on about 15 pounds of muscle. What's that, Dave?
Last at bat. Couldn't have asked for a better last at bat.
Yeah.
You get your first home run. I mean, I just hope you're able to, use that to go through the off season and just be like, all right, this is just a thing, or this is more of what's to come.
Maybe you just go ahead and say, hey, you're our guy in center field next year, and you get to roam around out there the next couple of seasons. You're our guy.
You just wonder, and I agree. I feel like that's probably his professional future if he really is the athlete that we think he might be. But if, like, he was a shortstop. Like, he was one of the top shortstops in high school baseball coming up, and you just wonder some of those guys, like, they get it in their heads, like, man, I want to be playing middle infield. Nobody like, unless you're just a big-time slugger in high school, nobody wants to play in the outfield, man. I want to be on the dirt.
I could see him sticking there, too. I mean, definitely second base. It depends on the portal. Do you grab a middle infielder, a big-time middle infielder out of the portal? Or do you get a big-time outfielder like a Henry Ford? But he's draft eligible, so you have to kind of wait around on that.
Mm-hmm.
We have a guy named Henry Ford.
Oh, yeah.
Made the Model T. Hey, he's been the Model T, the Power T. It's destined.
We go from Old Curly to the Model T.
He was, I think he might have been ACC Freshman of the Year last year, Davey, and then he's a draft eligible sophomore. I think he was second team All ACC this season for Virginia. He's in the portal. Visited this week.
And his teammate is as well, the Becker kid. He is not eligible, I don't believe, and he's a shortstop. He's an offensive shortstop. He's average to above average over on the left side. And he's got a do not contact tag, so for whatever that's worth. A lot of times that means he and the agent know where they're going, so we'll monitor that as well.
Rex is next on Voluntary Reaction. Go ahead, Rex.
Dude, this sucks. When you give up a grand slam at a thing like this, they should have just run ruled us.
Well, they don't have a run rule in the postseason as Arizona found out the other day. They let that thing go on for a while. But to their credit, the Wildcats came back and made it to Omaha.
A team that we beat in Houston.
Unlike us. But do you think we should have just pitched Doyle yesterday and just, like, was the strategy off?
Maybe.
I
Jason
mean,
in
I'm not
Murfreesboro
trying
think
to-
so.
Well, I'm up here in Nashville, sitting drunk at Scooter Brown, hanging out. So my Murfreesboro man, I'm going to agree with. Mid-state, there are 3 stars to the Tennessee 3-star. You guys kind of only focus on one. We're okay over here in the mid-state, but you know how Memphis gets.
We need to bring Memphis into the fold.
Yeah.
I mean, we focus on – I mean, it's a radio station after all, Rex. Like, we focus on the Knoxville market and East Tennessee. But we love our listeners in the mid-state, and we love our folks in the West State. We need more Memphis impact on the show. I mean, we get all sorts of Nashville mid-state folks calling in. We need our friends in Memphis to step up and make an impact.
Kind of like we needed a hit today.
Yes. Needed a couple. How many hits we end up with? 6?
8.
8? Oh, we had a couple of garbage time hits there.
Yeah.
Pad the stats a little bit.
Garbage time 3s.
Okay. Outscored them in the ninth.
Hey, Rex.
Who is this? Is this Logan?
No,
I'm
this
sorry,
is
I've been
Bear.
drinking.
Do me a favor, buddy. Why don't you turn down whatever's going on in the background there?
Mo, shut the fuck up!
Is that better for you, Bear?
Yeah.
Is he still there?
No. That's what you call getting dead. Didn't even deserve the flush. Can't tell me
That was
that.
a quick hook.
You just hung up on him?
Yeah.
Why?
He told me to shut the fuck up.
No, he didn't. He told Mo
No,
to
he was
shut the
yelling at
fuck
the guy
up.
in the background.
The guy at the background. He was doing what you wanted him to do.
I just wanted him to turn it down.
He was
still
helping.
there. I just took him off the air because I thought he told me to shut the fuck up.
Well, first of all, put on your big boy pants. If you get told to shut the fuck up, doesn't mean you
Yeah,
just
no,
cut the guy
I'm-
off.
I'm sorry.
Second of all, pay a little bit more attention. He was doing exactly what you asked
He
him
was
to do.
screaming. He's a loon.
Yes, he's
I love
screaming at
him,
the
but
guy
he's a
who's making
complete
noise
loon.
behind him. You
I'm gonna
told
bring
him to
him
do
back
it.
in. Who are you screaming at, Rex?
Mo!
Oh, Bear pulled a
Mo, we're
Vitello.
screaming at Mo.
Who the hell is Mo?
His real name is Mohammed. Am I still on?
You got us. You got us, Rex.
Jesus Christ.
Dude,
Oh.
it's just I've been stress drinking. That was some bullshit we had to sit through just there.
You can't.
We
Mo,
are
Mo.
lacking the fire from last year. Yes, this is like Roll Tide Tina.
Roll Tide
But
Tina.
I will
Tell your idiot husband.
Love
can't-
you.
You can't win
Me
all the
too.
games all the time. You
No,
know this.
I
You're an
agree.
Alabama fan.
No, I mean, like, you know what? I feel like I'm an independent these days. But anywho, like, I will tell you, the fire is lacking within this team this year than it was. There's no swagger. There is no swagger like there was last year.
Roll Tide Tina hit 24 home runs when she was in the 7th
I
grade.
did. I actually did. And
Alabama travel baseball.
softball.
Let's go.
But I will say, like, yeah, no, I actually kind of know, like, the sport a lot more. And this team was really, they were really nice. We'll be kind. But, like, they didn't have that, fire. They got outplayed.
We wanted Tony Vitello to kick someone in the nuts again.
No, we did not, because he's classier now.
Let them respond.
Which Tennessee player do you find most attractive in his baseball pants, Tina?
My husband, Rex. Woo!
What's his
Yeah.
batting average?
He's like, what is it? Out of a
I'm a kiss stealing, limousine riding.
baby. Woo!
Can't keep these. Fuck the Gators, go Vols! And Bear, in the most Geraldo Vol way, we love you.
Woo!
Thank you, Rex. We appreciate it. Getting sauced over there in Nashville.
It sounded like they were in the pool.
They were getting lit.
Hopefully no one gets electrocuted.
My boy Dean Curley looks like the guy on Big League Chew in those glasses.
You think so?
Yeah. The sunglasses and the batting helmet.
It's completely random, but really.
Yeah, I thought so. Anyway, DR Vol is next. What up, DR?
You know, it's not a voluntary action unless someone is telling a listener to shut the fuck up. Shout out to Jay.
We don't treat our listeners like that here on this program, DR.
No, we just we tell our callers to tell our listeners that, then we detonate them. Well, guys, we really showed up today. Russ, did you read that stat I sent you about our outfield?
I saw it.
No.
We're about at 108. Oh, it's awful.
Ugh. Yep, that ain't going to get it done.
No, when is Tony Vitello going to get it done?
I don't know,
That's
man.
the question we need to all be asking.
Can he get over the hump?
I've got a 1-year-old cousin that's never seen it happen, so, I mean, he doesn't ball leave. It's just, is it a loser mentality? I'm just not that mad. We made it to the Supers with a third of our team batting 108, and we just came off a natty. It's hard for me to be mad.
No, I agree, DR. It's a satisfying season, but it's not anything to get exhilarating about because we're coming off that national championship that was such a ride. And then I think it's kind of hard to kind of sift through what this season was. It was a great season, but just kind of in the way that it ended with Liam Doyle, he was slow working and everything. And then Tony kind of, a little bit of a quick hook, much like Bear with the caller there. It just, nothing was ever complete. Like Tony has mentioned going into this series, we are looking to play our best baseball of the season. Like they were still searching for that apex. Other teams, we've seen the best of Arkansas, we've seen the best of LSU. That's really good, and they can ride that and win with that baseball. We never saw the apex of this team.
Why is that, Logan? Do you think that Vitello just couldn't figure this team out this year?
No, I think it's just baseball. Like it's just we're the deepest program in the country, like bar none. Just what the players that they have offensively, like when you think about 12 through 16, like Blake Grimmer, Chris Newstrom, Hunter High. When a Hunter High can't get at bats in your program,
where does he figure in next year?
No clue. I mean, does he
DH?
Does he compete here, or is he a flight risk? I don't know.
I mean, not to disagree with you, Logan. I do think there is an element of Tony not being able to figure it out this year, as DR is suggesting. I don't blame him for it. It's got to be maddening because every time we thought that, we're going to give Newstrom at bats, and then he wouldn't hit. We're going to, we rolled with Clark for a while until we didn't. He stopped hitting, and then we went back to him, and he stopped hitting again. And it's just like I said at the beginning, the whole picture never came into focus, and it was just we never could get everybody going at the same time, and it was really frustrating. I see more comments from him now. Ryan Shumpert says, Vitello on the offseason quote, "Got to go get guys. You always want to recruit better." I guarantee you that's where his mind is at right now. It's like, I like the guys we have coming back, but I'm going to try and get the best players I can, and if that pisses somebody off and they leave, then so be it. We're gonna have as much talent on this roster as we possibly can.
Speaking of leaving, guys, is that the last time we see Elander in orange?
I don't know. That's been a topic the last few seasons.
Yep.
Thought it would have happened by now. But that's another thing that's kind of a side note with Tony's new contracts that he's seen. He's taking care of the assistant coaches very well. And so how much of a factor does that come in? I think we'll probably have to see, some more openings around the country. But, it's a good question. I mean, it's keeping Josh Elander is huge. I mean, it's a huge deal to have him sort of having a rapport, not just offensively, but he has a rapport with the catcher. He takes care of the catchers too. So,
God, yeah, I hope we do hold on to him. I'm kind of worried to see what we look like without him. Moving on, guys, I guess we got football to look forward to this year. This is going to piss a lot of people off. I think Nico will probably shine at UCLA. I feel like he's a better fit in L.A.
Maybe from a culture standpoint, but they don't have any – like that roster is not good, and they play in the Big Ten now.
Yeah, but he fits that culture, Russ. I mean, L.A., they're used to men with long hair that wear dresses. I'll hang up and listen.
Should have known.
He set you up, Russ.
He laid the trap, and I walked right into it. Should have seen that one coming, Dave.
Real gin.
It was a good setup.
Yep.
I got a story to get off the rails whenever y'all want to do that.
About the what?
No, just a story that's kind of
off the rails.
We want to get off the rails, yeah.
All right. Well, since he brought it up, I did want to preview football season at some point. The next time we reconvene here on Voluntary Reaction will be after the Syracuse game, which is a noon kickoff, correct?
Believe so, yeah.
Noon kickoff on ABC, so we'll be at about 3:30 on that opening weekend. We'll be breaking it down, and I did see somebody today. It was who's the guy for On 3? He's the On 3 Josh Pate with hair.
Pickle, the pickle guy.
JD Pickle.
That's what I call him too. The Josh Pate.
He's Josh
with hair.
Pate with hair. Yeah, he's a poor man's Josh Pate.
White
no offense
t-shirt.
to Pickle. Yeah, he's just does everything Josh Pate does. He was saying his hot take is the Tennessee offense will function better with Joey Aguilar, than it did with Nico.
What was the reasoning?
I don't know. I didn't watch the video.
I didn't either. I saw the same thing. I was like, I'm not watching this.
I just saw it. I was like, Pickle guy's making a lot of sense, and I moved on.
Yeah. I don't know enough about the guy, about Joey Aggs.
I don't think anybody does. If he can catch on, I'm in talk myself into it mode.
Yeah.
Our offensive line is going to be just as good, I think. Wide receivers, if we've got some potential star power there, especially with Mike Matthews. Brazel, second year in the system. Staley, second year in the system. We've got 2 running backs I'm very confident in. We've got 2 tight ends I'm very confident in. If Heupel can sprinkle his magic quarterback coaching dust on Joey Aguilar or the Merc Slinger, I'm starting to I see a path to 10-2 and back to the playoffs, Davey.
Here's a question I have for the room. There is no tape as far as really Merc or Joey trying to run this offense at an efficient level for what you would normally get from guys. How much in Josh Heupel's mind can you keep close to the vest when it comes to the Syracuse game and think, hey, we got Georgia week 3. That's when we're going to really open things up.
Lean on the run game against Syracuse.
This is the year that you actually do wish you opened up with Bowling Green or even ETSU.
Right.
I mean, do we all think it's going to be Aguilar? I don't think you bring that guy in to sit.
Right.
I think it could be Merklinger.
I don't think he comes here to
written in
sit.
stone. Well, now he's here. I mean, if you get to the season, Merklinger gives you a better chance to win. You start Merklinger. I don't care if you have brought him in here to start. He's been known to bring guys in that you would think would be the starter, but what we had sitting on the bench.
No, yeah, that's a good point. I just hope it's not another 2022 situation where we're starting the guy that out of the portal that Heupel's enamored with, but the guy that we should be starting is on the bench. I mean, it worked out in 2022, but only because, or I guess that was 2021.
He
but
got hurt?
Only because, Joe got hurt.
I just think I don't see a scenario where it's a 2 QB type thing unless there is injury. But, I mean, that ETSU game, though, that's one in which you're going to be able to get plenty of guys playing time.
Yeah. Well, I mean, best case scenario, Aguilar hits the ground running, man, and we have a really nice game against Syracuse, and then he's able to really pad his stats and get some confidence against ETSU heading into that Georgia game. But I've heard from people who got to see some practices and stuff this spring that they thought Merklinger was better than Nico. Like they thought he really had a command of what he was doing and that he spun it nicely. So we'll see. I think another elite defense, man. I think Rodney Garner has some dudes and some experience there and talent, and I think T-Lander and Arian Carter are going to be really good as junior linebackers in the scheme, in the system. We'll see if McCoy is able to come back, but and we don't have much depth in the secondary, but I think we'll be very good defensively again. We got our specialists back, a punter and kicker.
You don't need McCoy until week 3.
Would you just give him those extra 2 weeks or I guess really 3 weeks before you turn him loose?
I mean, depending on how recovery's going, but I would definitely lean.
You want to knock the rust off game, don't you?
You do, but I mean, if I'm them, like, listen, like, you can, in my mind, easily go 4-1 without McCoy. Now, obviously, you want to try to win that Georgia game. I just don't know if we have enough. That's where it's just like I can't say right now, given what I've not seen at quarterback, to say like, yeah, we got a good chance. I mean, the odds right now are simply Georgia's winning that game. But really, if you could, even if you had to sit the first month without McCoy and just wait until you get really into the heart of SEC play, I'd be okay with that. I just want him for the back half of the schedule.
It is a huge factor in terms of how good we can be. Do we have – I mean, if you've looked at any of these preseason magazines yet, like, you know, the positional group rankings and all that stuff at the beginning of those, like, our secondary is the only group getting any sort of consideration in those rankings, and it's all because of him. (865-966-3435), your phone number. Last call here. If you want to sound off on Tennessee baseball, speak now, forever hold your peace. 865-966-3435 if you want to chime in this evening as we're wrapping up the final voluntary reaction of a very productive sports school year that saw Tennessee go to the first ever college football playoff, the first ever 12-team college football playoff. Second Elite Eight in a row. Never been done in school history. Women's team goes to the Sweet 16, and Tennessee baseball becomes the first, well, not the first team ever, the first team in quite a while to go to 5 consecutive super regionals as after the year after winning a national championship. Putting the finishing touches on it right now if you want to chime in. Davey, what do you got for us?
Okay, so apparently there's a new side effect for men that use Ozempic, and it's being called Ozempic penis. And here's the thing. I've been reading this, and it says that –
You're reading this. You don't have any –
I mean, I've got the article pulled up right
You're
now.
looking very thin yesterday, Davey, is all I'm going to say.
I do a lot of fasting. And I will
With your
say
Ozempic penis?
I have not noticed a change at all in the size of my genitalia from doing that.
Oh, that's good.
But with Ozempic penis, it just says that people that are doing it are noticing that their male genitalia is getting bigger. But my thing is it actually getting bigger, or are they just such fat fucks to begin with that they lost so much weight that it just looks bigger because everything else around them is smaller?
Well, as a friend of mine who went from well over 300 pounds to a nice healthy sub 200 a couple of years ago, said when I asked him if he noticed any side effects, he said
got a little more proud.
I can't remember what he said. No, it was
I'm trying bigger.
I'm trying to nail it. He said it very eloquently. It's like the piece of meat looks better if you put it on a smaller plate. It looks bigger. Your steak looks bigger if it's on a smaller plate.
Okay.
Ozempic dick, huh?
Yep.
This is what you brought to the table today.
I said it was an off-the-rails story.
I mean, I would think that look, we have a public health crisis in this country. We have gotten way too big. And every time somebody wants to fix it, you talk about the ultimate third rail. Like, remember Michelle Obama's like, I want to put some more vegetables in the school lunches, and people lost their mind. You would have thought she had blown up Mount Rushmore. Oh, my God, you can't do that. We're going to have pizza and hamburgers and cookies. You can't tell us what to do, Michelle Obama. And now, like, RFK is like, it's the same thing. It's like, we need to make America healthy again. We need to eat better foods. We need healthier food. We need to get active out there. And the other half of the country, the same one that was for the Obamas, is like, oh, my God, this guy, you talk about government overreach now. You can't tell us what. Like, we got to get healthier. And I, for one, Davey, think that if a side effect of Ozempic is it makes your dick bigger, then, like, we need to publicize that. We should tell our men that, again, not to get too political here, but there's a lot of talk about men. We're losing men in this. What there's a crisis of masculinity in this country. And, like, hey, man, get yourself some Ozempic, drop 100 pounds or so, and gain an inch or two.
Yeah, the reason I don't think Ozempic penis is real is because when I watch TV, you get bombarded with the pharmaceutical companies advertising for those types of drugs. And I've never heard them say one of the side effects is enlarged penis.
Yeah, you would lead with that.
That's not a side effect. That's just a feature. As a benefit. Have you guys seen the Tom Segura thing?
Yes. I've seen the last episode, and that's it.
So the gym membership, right?
Yeah.
Have you seen it, Dave?
Gym membership. I've seen the first 3 episodes. Is it a little bit later?
You need to watch the last one.
Okay, I've not gotten all the way through yet.
It's what we're talking about right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
My favorite so far would be the school play.
That was very good. That's a nice touch. What about, speaking of commercials and medical commercials, I mean, they really think a lot of people who watch college baseball have AIDS.
Yeah, that's it's.
Oh, those
that
commercials.
One's big. I'm trying to think.
How many times do I have to see these dudes telling me to go get checked for AIDS? I've been married 20 years, man.
Was also when you look at the stereotypical nature of the people they're targeting too. It's like, I'm not going to go too far on this one, but it's like they really know who, like, based off the numbers. It's like, all right.
It's not young gay men are not tuning in to the NCAA baseball tournament.
I think those were supposed to be programmed for the Los Angeles Super Regional.
Is San Francisco?
Speaking of San Francisco, the Braves, another one-run loss. 10 in a row.
10 in a row.
It's hard to do. Impressive.
Yeah, man. Get some. I don't know who schedules the ads or what the ad buying process is for ESPN and these baseball games, but they're not getting the right products to the right target audience right now. Is all I'm saying. Like,
no, they're not.
I understand back when it was Fred McGriff, that baseball tutorial, Brett Favre, the copper sleeve, like that. That stuff makes sense. Regions, we all need to bank, like whatever their other products are. But now it's just an endless barrage of AIDS commercials. They're not advertising it. Hey, come get some AIDS. It's I don't even know what it is. It's like an AIDS test or something.
I check out as soon as it comes on.
I really haven't even. I zone out when commercials come on.
Yeah. I saw. I think it's not Paramount that's getting it. I can't remember which streaming service is gaining access to South Park, but they did have a list of several episodes that you will not be able to watch when they do that one. And there was one, this was obviously before everything came out about his all the negative things he had done. But Jared from Subway, there was the South Park episode where he's like, how did he lose all his weight?
Yeah.
He talks about he got AIDS but it's AIDS. Like he got personal trainers to help him, but he just kept going around telling people he got AIDS, and that's how he lost all his weight.
There was also, it might have been the same episode where they found the cure for AIDS.
Yeah.
Magic Johnson had it.
There's a different one, yes.
It was
but
cash.
Inject all your money.
You just inject cash directly into your bloodstream. Wow. That show. All right, boys. Well, this has been fun. I wish it could have extended at least another game. I said on Twitter this morning, the thought just popped in my head. If we win today, we're winning tomorrow. And somehow that made it to the Arkansas fans, and they said some very hurtful things to me.
What'd they say?
Online. Some very hurtful
Vulgar?
things. You can go and read the replies if you want. I'm not going to dignify them with responses. Although the guy that sent me the AI image of a huge Razorback making a Tennessee fan who looked suspiciously like Butch Jones squeal like a pig. That was good work. That was funny. I got a chuckle from it. It's uncalled for, though. And I stand by it. I wasn't wrong. We didn't win today, so we won't win tomorrow. But if we had won today, I think we would have won tomorrow. And we'd be going to Omaha. But
we didn't.
Ifs and buts. You know what they say. All right, folks, really appreciate it. I want to say big thanks to Crumble Cookies for hooking it up this week. They did yeoman's work. I saw Logan doing some anxious eating there towards the end, filling the black hole with sugar. It seemed to work.
The cake batter blondie, man. It's a good one.
Yeah, that was where it's at. Check out a Crumble Cookies near you. They've got locations on Clinton Highway, the OG spot. Up north, they are in Maryville. They are also in Turkey Creek on Parkside Drive. Be sure to tell them Fan Run Radio sent you online at crumblecookies.com. Let's go around the room here. Some parting thoughts. Davey Hudson of Outkick. Great seeing you yesterday, my friend. I'm sure we'll be looking forward to a full season of football voluntary reactions. What say you?
Yeah, the baseball voluntary reaction did not go as well as football and basketball this season. Granted, 0-2 this year, so we got to step that up come football season. But I mean, it's always therapeutic whenever we're able to discuss the game, discuss what is going to happen with Tennessee athletics moving forward, and I always feel better at the end of it. I can't recall a single time where I have felt worse about a game following voluntary reaction. So I hope the listeners who we're so thankful that they tune in and listen to us ramble, they feel the same way. But it's always an honor to be with you, gentlemen, and looking forward to football season.
Bear, parting thoughts?
Another great season in the books, and look forward to reloading and getting after it next year. Just kind of bummed we're going to have to wait for so long.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not that long.
We'll have some fall ball.
Yeah, it'll get cranked. It'll be back before you know it, but really proud of the team. Another fantastic season, and just continuing on. I can't wait to see what the next chapter in the Tony Vitello program is here at Tennessee.
Logan Quinton, the Cookie Man, thank you, first of all, for everything you do, man, and we'll be looking forward to your high school football coverage this fall for us here on Fan Run. I'm sure we'll be talking to you every week about that, but you kill it on the baseball stuff. You and Bill, the 920 podcast, your weekly appearances on our show. Really appreciate the color and the baseball knowledge you add. These shows the past 2 days really would have sucked without you. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man, it's bittersweet. Didn't want it to end like this. Wanted another run at Omaha, but it was a good year, and it was there were a lot of talking points, a lot of discourse, and just for fans out there, man, cherish those moments that you do get to Omaha, because man, I feel like I can reach back and grab that Omaha experience last year, and be able to go about it because it's going to come again. There's going to be another run in Omaha. So next opportunity, tackle it however you can, get the most out of it. But yeah, as you mentioned, Russ, time to turn the page. I'm going to do some MLB draft coverage. I've started to sprinkle in it a little bit as this season has been winding down, but for me, the next month and a half is going to be all about the MLB draft, so I really like to geek out on that stuff. And then after that, it's going to be high school football. It's coming. It's coming. And so I think it's an appropriate time for all of us to decompress a little bit. And like you said, come August, man, we know what the talk's going to be.
Yeah, man, we'll be following you for the latest on the draft. I'm sure Liam Doyle will be first out of the gates for Tennessee, and then we'll see if Fisher and maybe big Marcus Phillips can sneak into the first round
man,
as
that's
well.
going to be Phillips is going to be such a big, raw athlete from the pitcher side that there's going to be organizations grab him pretty high. And then, we had some callers mention losing some pieces, having some recruiting risks in the draft. There definitely is that, but I would keep an eye. There's a guy or two on there, that maybe it flips the other way. And I think the House settlement and everything, how that's going to come into play for college baseball. Because
they don't have to pay anymore. It's all free scholarship.
Yes, and college, think about it right now. I mean, it's going to affect all sports, right? But college baseball, the transfer portal is open right now. It's MLB draft season. And so you're going to see an immediate impact there. And I'll use this example. Last year's draft, no doubt first-rounder William Schmidt pulls his name out of the draft the day of the draft and signs with LSU. So I wonder how much more of that we see. So yeah, be sure to follow the draft. Follow me at LDQ Sports. I'll have plenty of MLB draft content. I'm sure Bill and I will do a eulogy on the 920 podcast at some point. But yeah, you guys know where to find me. So whenever you need a closer, if you need some Vols, MLB draft talk, holler at the Cookie Man when you guys get back from your respite.
We will, for sure. You think they bring Vitello back he's become kind of the star of that draft night coverage.
Oh, I don't know.
I don't know.
That's, he's great up there.
Yeah.
That was so fantastic last summer, seeing him up there in the
as
fur
long as
coat.
He doesn't hawk a loogie on set.
Yeah. No, I'm sure, and it's in Atlanta this summer, so I feel like he can.
A lot of going on in Atlanta. SEC Media Days, All-Star Game, baseball draft, ATL, man, got it going on.
No good baseball, though.
No, sadly, not much in the way of wins for the Bravos. But, all right, boys, really appreciate it. Folks, it's been a hell of a ride, a hell of a school year for Voluntary Reaction. As I said, college football playoff, that was a great ride. Josh Heupel and the boys took us on. Hopefully they can do it again this upcoming season. Shout out to Rick Barnes and the basketball team. They've reloaded. That's going to be unbelievable as well. And listen, you don't need me to tell you that this guy, Anthony Gregory Vitello, is going to have us right back in the mix, fighting for another trip to Omaha this time a year from now. Think about how much fun we were having a year ago. We're going to do that again.
Yep.
We are going to do that again sooner rather than later. So think about that as you hopefully not cry yourself to sleep tonight. But if you have any negative feelings or emotions you're experiencing right now, the sun will come up tomorrow. I promise you. And Tony Vitello is going to go recruiting. So for Davey and Bear and Logan, I'm Russell Smith. Thanks so much for tuning in this afternoon. Have a great summer. We will talk to you Monday on The Drive, and Voluntary Reaction is just about another 80 or so days away here on Fan Run Radio.